Newsfirst at 9. Headlines.
Well, a very good evening to you and welcome to Primetime News live from the Newsfirst Centre in Colombo. I'm Nadim Majid.
I'm Meenakshi Ratnasekara. Before we start out, let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Your country cannot be second to any of your interests. A statement by President Rajapaksa while addressing the World Conference on Youth. Investigations revealed that the two police officers who were abducted in Kurunegala did not possess official firearms. On the weather front, 6 districts still at risk of landslides. Damages incurred by the Department of Railways as a result of the accident in Potuhara estimated at 170 million rupees, says the Railways General Manager.
In our top story tonight, the Criminal Investigations Department has launched broad investigations into the abduction of 2 police officers in Kurunegala and the subsequent murder of 1 officer. The other police officer, who managed to escape, has been admitted to the Kurunegala Teaching Hospital. Addressing a media briefing this afternoon, police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana noted that the police officers did not have any official weapons or communication equipment when they were abducted.
The remains of Constable Sandana Sampath, who was attached to the Kurunegala Police Motor Traffic Division, was discovered last night in the Ranavana area in Kurunegala. The body was discovered after Police Constable Ajit Veerasurya was able to inform the police with the assistance of area residents. The 2 police officers were abducted by an unidentified group at around midnight yesterday near the Muttetugala area along the Kurunegala Dambulla main road while on duty.
Mame Radisirinne Kurunegala Dambulla Pradana Marge I
am on the Kurunegala Dambulla main road. At the first junction you reach when travelling towards Dambulla, it is about 2 kilometers from this location to the Kurunegala town. You can see that a police officer has been stationed here. The Kurunegala police informed us that the police officers are always stationed at this location. 2 officers attached to the Kurunegala police were on duty at this location last night, and this is where they were kidnapped.
ඔවුන් දෙදෙනා පැහැර ගැනීමට ලක් වූ ස්ථානය තමයි මා පසුපසින් මේ දිස්වන්නේ.
The unidentified group that arrived in a van had taken the 2 officers around 2 kilometers along the Kurunegala Dambulla main road and turned into a by road in close proximity to the Badugamua reserve, which heads towards the Ranavana area.
They
were brought here naked and one of the officers was shot and killed over there. The other police officer had fought off his captors and had fled into a nearby house. Police Constable Ajit Veerasurya, who survived this ordeal, explained the incidents that transpired to the investigating team.
I came out at night and he asked me for a sarong. I shouted to my son that someone had come and that he appeared to be mad and shouted for him not to open the door. My husband ran up and asked what was the matter. I said someone was banging on the door and not opening it.
I heard the noise and came out to see what the matter was. Then I saw this man clad in a sarong. He informed us that they were from the police and that his partner had been shot over there.
It was past 1 a.m. I heard a gunshot. I heard someone screaming and then I heard 2 more gunshots. Then I heard a vehicle drive off.
We saw a van driving off at high speed, but nothing was clear. We heard a sound close to our neighbor's house. When we went out to inquire, we saw there was someone on the road.
ඊට පස්සේ අල්ලපු වැටේ ඒ පැත්තේ සද්ද ඇහිලා එහෙ ගිහිල්ලා බලනකොට තවත් කෙනෙක් ඉන්න බව පැහැදිලිව පෙනුණා.
A T-56 magazine, an empty ammunition shell and a cap was discovered near the scene of the crime today. There were also indications that a vehicle has sped off from the area. Search operations were carried out with the use of sniffer dogs, however this did not lead to any definite leads. The remains of the deceased constable were taken to the hospital after the conclusion of the magisterial inquest by Kurunegala Chief Magistrate Ravindra Pemaratna. Late Police Constable Chandana Sampath, who was 42 years old at the time of his demise, had served in the police force for 22 years. A resident of Gokaralla and a loving father of 2, Chandana Sampath was posthumously promoted to the rank of sergeant. The director of the Kurunegala hospital noted that Police Constable Ajit Veerasurya, who was also abducted, had not received any serious injuries. The police has requested the public to hand over any information they have on this crime through the telephone number 0774 784 648. The number is 0774 784 648.
We request
the public to hand over any information they have on this crime. IGP NK Ilangakon has decided to offer a cash reward of 1 million rupees to any successful tip-off.
The police media spokesperson also explained as to why the 2 officers in question were not carrying any official firearms or communication equipment.
Of the 2 officers, the one who survived had earlier met with an accident according to him. He states that due to some discomfort caused to his arm due to this accident, he did not take his sidearm. As a result, the officer who died had also not taken his sidearm. If sidearms are to be carried, then 2 officers must be present. They were close to the city, so they did not take any communication equipment. However, on 2 previous occasions as well, they had used their personal cell phones to inform about several other things. The officer who is receiving treatment has informed the 119 about the incident.
In Sri Lanka history, we have seen police torture incident with these immense problems faced by innocent citizens in Sri Lanka. They have already filed several fundamental rights cases with regard to this and also complained to Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission. Now the situation reversed back. Now some groups are actually beating policemen and killing. This is real threat to rule of law in the country. So therefore immediately this must be stopped. Otherwise it can be a big problem of breaking down the law in this country.
The World Conference on Youth 2014 commenced this morning at the Magam Ruhunpura International Convention Centre in Hambantota. The inaugural session of the WCY 2014 was held under the auspices of President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Youth representatives from over 150 countries are currently in the island to take part in this conference, along with a number of youth affairs ministers from across the globe. President Mahinda Rajapaksa was the chief guest of the occasion. The inaugural ceremony was also graced by President of the General Assembly of the United Nations, John Williams Ash, and the United Nations Secretary General's Envoy on Youth, Ahmad El-Handawi.
The voice of young people has never been stronger. Young people today are sharing the same struggle to realize common aspirations, from education to decent employment, from living healthy to living peacefully, from being recognized not only as numbers or beneficiaries, but as assets and partners in development. The challenges are daunting. As you are debating here these coming days, I would like to invite you all to join the Global Partnership for Youth in the Post-2015 Development Agenda and to crowdsource your priorities and targets in the coming agenda.
Truly, this is about you. It is your planet. You and your kids will inherit it. So whatever you do, you need, if you haven't done so before, you do need to get involved. This is something, we are talking about the future. And as I said until today, I was thinking of it as the future that you would inherit. It is a future that belongs to you. You have to do your best to ensure it, to make sure you are here. So your voices need to be heard. We need to be more strategic in how we devise our goals. Make sure they're meaningful, make sure we know how to implement them, and more importantly, have ways in which we can check what progress we are making.
Together and sing out, all right?
The official theme song of the World Conference on Youth was performed at the event, which brought the gathering alive yet again. Head of State, President Mahinda Rajapaksa, then addressed the gathering.
The primary responsibility to ensure youth participation in development lies with the state. We as leaders and policymakers need to consider a number of challenges to make this effort meaningful and successful. From a traditional policymaker's perspective, all too often, the question asked, when you raise the issue of youth involvement in any societal processes, do they have the expertise, capacity, knowledge, experience, leadership and the resources? Youth are seen as dependents or beneficiaries and not as active partners who can also contribute to good outcomes. Leaving aside these dominant perceptions, we have to recognize that today's youth have evolved and need opportunities to participate and contribute to a social progress. We need to readjust our traditional and conventional policy-making structures and institutions to accommodate youth participation. Our thinking has to change. we need to make that leap in policy and thinking when it comes to youth. Sri Lanka accords special attention to the needs and aspiration of our significant youth population. Having experienced two violent youth insurgencies in 1971 and 1989, we are mindful of the cause that create violent discontent. More importantly, Sri Lanka has recognized that economic and social development was most successful when young people became active stakeholders in policy formation and implementation. I wish to appeal to all of you, the young people who represent the world, to regard your country as sacred. It cannot be second to any of your interests. Nor can it be sacrificed for any given whatsoever. And again, there may be outside pressure to compromise your love for your country. But all such pressures must be resisted at any cost.
A traditional performance concluded the opening ceremony.
Man cannot discover new oceans without losing sight of the shore. The 5-member Sri Lankan delegation, comprising of members from Newsfirst and Sri Lanka Youth, which undertook a novel initiative to go around the world in just 40 days on the 27th of March this year, arrived in Sri Lanka last evening.
The national flag of Sri Lanka was officially handed over to the national team by President Mahinda Rajapaksa at the Carlton House in Tangol on the southern tip of Sri Lanka on the 27th of March.
Just as the old did, the Sri Lankan delegation left the island with a sense of purpose, that is to create awareness on the World Conference on Youth 2014. The team was escorted to the Stein Convention Center from the Bandaranaike International Airport, where a cultural event was organized to celebrate the success of the Around the World tour. Youth delegates from a number of countries attended the cultural event organized by Newsfirst, MTV MBC Media Network and Sri Lanka Youth. A group including senior officials of the Capital Maharaja Organization Limited as well as officials from the National Youth Services Council were present. The national flag of Sri Lanka, which was handed over to the team by President Mahinda Rajapaksa at Carlton House in Tangol in March, was officially handed over to the Secretary to the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Skills Development.
Now the next song is the official song of the Around the World in 40 Days tour team, which was produced by Newsfirst together with the MTV MBC Media Network.
The event came to a close with the performance of the official song composed for the Around the World in 40 Days tour. The event came to a close with the performance of the official song composed for the Around the World in 40 Days tour.
නවදිනකට සිතුවිලි සකසා දෙනු රට ගැන මොහොතක් සිතලා එක් වී බැඳී ඉන්න සාමය පතුරාලා ඉදිරියටම යන යවුනේ.
On a related note, the World President of Junior Chamber International is to participate in one of the sessions of the World Conference on Youth in Colombo tomorrow as the keynote speaker. At a press conference convened in Colombo today, Shine Bhaskaran elaborated further.
This time I came specifically for the World Conference on Youth to be as a keynote speaker in one of the session for bringing sustainable solutions. Chamber International have its own framework how to work on different projects. We used to say as an active citizen framework. This framework is now very commonly used with the UNESCO, UN Global Compact, Pan American Health Organization, because we don't want to keep this active citizen framework with us, because it's very easily understandable framework which any projects can be worked out. So that's why JCI want to bring this to local authorities, government officials or different organizations to implement projects in a sustainable way.
The Government Nursing Officers Association and the Public Service United Nurses Union say that the strike action they initiated several days ago was abandoned this morning. However, yesterday the All Ceylon Nurses Union noted that they would continue with their strike action. Meanwhile, the Joint Council of Professions Supplementary to Medicine launched a strike in 3 provinces today, citing several demands. Our reporters say that this strike too affected several hospitals.
The Joint Council of Professions Supplementary to Medicine launched a strike action from 8 o'clock this morning at hospitals in the North Central and Eastern provinces. The General Secretary of the Joint Council, Saman Jasekar, says that 1,100 officials representing 5 professions are participating in the strike. The strike was launched citing demands including the granting of promotions to first and special grades which have not been granted over the past 8 years, establishing a quality private healthcare service, the implementation of proposals submitted to the Ministry of Health, and the reversal of cutbacks to university healthcare degrees. Laboratory services, pharmaceutical services, x-rays and scans, physiotherapy and chiropractic treatments have been affected by the strike action. This footage was captured from the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital this morning.
strike. Other may bed dinner, tangular, may counter roll, kitchen connect, go strike. Api dupat minis.
Varjana Kiena, Mono, the Kila, Apita, Nighty Mono, not Karanero, into Luquasada, Kaurukara.
Services at the Polonnaruwa General Hospital were also dysfunctional as a result of the strike.
අහුතාට එහෙම බෙහෙත් නැහැ මානසික සායයෙන් මේ කකුල් අමාරුව බෙහෙත් ගන්නවා අපි දන්නේ මොකද කරන්නේ තුණ්ඩුවක් කියලා දුන්නා මේ පාමසෙන් ඔසුහලෙන් ගන්න කියලා අපි දන්නේ මොනවද මේ කරන්න කියලා
හැමදාම මේක කරන්න බෑ දෙයියනේ මේ කාට හරි මේ විසඳුමක් කරලා මේක ඉවරයක් කරලා දාන්න නැත්තම් මේ දුප්පත් මිනිස්සු මැරලා යයි.
The strike was also in effect at the Trincomalee General Hospital. A similar situation was witnessed at the Jaffna Teaching Hospital. It is disappointing that the authorities have not initiated a proper program. Thereby, we have informed the Health Ministry that if these issues are not resolved during the course of the day, we have 1,400 officials stationed at all hospitals in the northwestern, Sabaragamu and Nuwa provinces who will also join the strike action. Meanwhile, 2 nurses unions agreed to abandon the nurses strike that has been continuing over the past several days this morning. However, the All Ceylon Nurses Union noted that they will continue with the strike until their demands are fulfilled.
ඔවුන් කිසිදු ඉල්ලීමක් දිනා ගන්න නැතුව කිසිදු එකඟතාවයක් නැතුව අමාත්‍යාංශයෙන්
They have abandoned their strike action without winning any of their demands, without reaching an agreement and without obtaining any written promise from the Ministry of Health. They have betrayed the nurses' struggle. Thereby, we have decided to continue with this strike action.
සම්පූර්ණයෙන් පාවලා දුන්නා. ඒ අනුව අපි තීරණය කරා
Meanwhile, tensions flared at the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital when the president of the Government Nursing Officers Association, Saman Ratnapriya, arrived there to meet members of the union. Although the nurses' strike has been abandoned by 2 of the main unions, the nurses of the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital did not report to work today either. Services at the hospital were carried out by doctors and minor staff today as well. The strike has been continuing for more than a week now in the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital. Even now, several days have passed with no emergency services. However, the doctors, specialists and all other staff at the hospital are executing these duties. At present, about 800 to 900 patients are receiving in-house treatment.
The president of the Government Nursing Officers Association, Saman Ratnapriya, says that the strike is continuing at the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital owing to administrative problems. It was the nursing administration that administered and managed the family health service. Following a verbal order by the director of health services, the director of the hospital has taken a different decision. We cannot acquiesce to this decision. Thereby, although we halted the strike action yesterday in the people's best interest, we have decided to continue the strike at the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital.
මෙතනදී කිසිම අවස්ථාවක කිසිම වෛද්‍යවරයෙක් කියලා නැහැ හෙදියන්ට මේ සූතිකා පුහුණුව ලබා දෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා.
No doctor has said at any instance that labour room training will not be provided to nurses. They are not asking that this training be provided for nurses. They are asking that it be provided to students. These students have not even had their results released as yet. We still do not know how many of them have passed and how many have failed the examination. The unions are asking that these people be given labour room training. As a competent institution, we say do not do this. This will be a major injustice to pregnant mothers in Sri Lanka.
මේ ලංකාවේ ඉන්න මාතෘ බබාලා හම්බ ඉන්න අම්මලාට විශාල අවතක් කරන්නේ.
The General Manager of Railways says that losses caused by the recent accident at the Pothuhera railway station have been estimated at 170 million rupees. BAPRA Ratna made this statement at a press conference convened under the auspices of Transport Minister Kumara Welgama to brief the media on the current status of inquiries into the incident.
The damages incurred to the trains, that is the engines and carriages, has been estimated to cost 160 million rupees. It could be more. Damages caused to the railway line have been estimated at 3.8 million. This will be the cost of the renovation of the line. Signals had also been damaged by falling rocks. This will add another 3 million. Altogether, we have incurred a loss of close to 170 million rupees.
Authorities reiterated at this media briefing that they would expedite the inquiry into the Pothuhera accident. I must mention at this occasion that stern action will be taken against the responsible parties identified through this independent probe, regardless of their status or party affiliations. We will not protect anyone in this inquiry. If such an action is undertaken, it would be a major betrayal of railway passengers.
We are in a state department. There are many individuals who are here who work negligently. There are people who have no passion for their work. There are very few people who have commitment to do their jobs. This is not a factor that is exclusive to the Department of Railways. The courteous relations between the various parties here has deteriorated completely. There is no need to hide this. The courteous relations between them has deteriorated completely. I must reveal this. The Honourable Minister and we have been made to face great hardships as a result.
68 people were injured on the 30th of April in a head-on collision at the Pothuhera railway station involving the Dayatakirula and Rajarata Rajana trains. 5 employees of the Railways Department have been suspended following a preliminary inquiry, while a committee has been appointed to conduct a department-level inquiry.
The Disaster Management Centre has issued landslide warnings for 6 districts until 4 p.m. tomorrow. The DMC, quoting the National Building Research Organisation, noted that landslide warnings were issued for the districts of Badulla, Nuwara, Kegol, Kandy, Kalutara and Ratnapura due to the incessant rains experienced. Meanwhile, the Department of Meteorology forecast showers or thunder showers in several parts of the island during the night with temporary localised strong winds.
The Director of the Water Management Unit at the Department of Irrigation, Janaki Meghasthanna, says that the spill gates of 3 reservoirs have been opened at present owing to the heavy rainfall. The spill gates of the Ingidimitia reservoir were opened this afternoon. According to the Newsfirst correspondent in the area, the spill gates have been opened by 1 foot each, resulting in 2,016 cubic feet of water being released into the reservoir per second. Officials have advised residents living along the banks of the Mioya to remain vigilant as a result of this. Meanwhile, 2 spill gates of the Thabboa tank were also opened this afternoon. Warnings have been issued to all divisional secretariat areas in the Badulla and Kandy districts as well as to the Kothmale and Ambagamu secretariat areas in the Nuwara district. Warnings have also been issued to the Dharaniyagala, Yatyanthota and Bulatkohupitiya areas in the Kegol district. The divisional secretariat areas of Agalawakta, Matugama, Palinda Nuwara, Valalavita, Bulat Sinhala and Horana in the Kalutara district have also been issued warnings. Landslide warnings have also been issued to the towns of Ratnapura and Balangoda.
Now, farmers in Ampara and Polonnaruwa staged demonstrations today over persisting problems with the irrigation system.
A group including farmers from the Galapitagala, Gonagala, Sinawata and KC settlements in the Galloya scheme staged a protest march from Galapitagala to the Gonagala junction this morning. They say that all the extensive discussions have been held with authorities regarding water supply problems. These talks have been fruitless. A large group of police officers were present at the scene.
We are not asking for various forms of aid or jobs. No one in the village has asked for this. All we are asking for is water.
Tensions flared when the zonal irrigation director Nihal Jayawardena arrived at the location.
Please intervene in this issue and resolve this problem speedily. The people did not bring bombs and guns here. There are no guns, no pistols, not even a false pistol at the very least. Please protect the agrarian community.
Meanwhile, farmers in the Avanapura, Divuldawana, Damminna and Midanwala villages in the Mahavali B zone charge that they do not receive sufficient water for their lands. They staged a demonstration this morning opposite the office of the Mahavali authority in Avanapura. The farmers question as to why authorities cannot provide them with water when they were able to provide water to villagers in the vicinity of the Maduru Oya reservoir.
How is it that water is being given 100% to the Vijayapura division? Afterwards, they gathered all the feeds together and provided water to 50%. How is it that fields in the same log that is in the Aluthur division were only given 50%?
The farmers say that since the water being provided for the Yala season is no way sufficient, the matter should be resolved urgently before it aggravates further.
On to news from Parliament, JVP leader Anukumar Dissanayake posed questions in Parliament today regarding the crisis that has arisen around the Allied Health Science degree.
Which expert board recommended that the Allied Health Sciences degree's duration should be 4 years? What were the determining factors that were considered for this? Which expert board decided to cut back this degree to a 3-year degree? What were the determining factors taken into consideration in this instance? Has the Supreme Court issued an order to the effect that the duration of the degree should be cut back by 1 year? And fourthly, do you accept that through the cutback on the duration of the degree, students following the Allied Health Sciences degree have been done an injustice? It was the University Grants Commission, the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Higher Education. There is a Supreme Court order in this regard. Issuing the order, the Chief Justice at the time informed the University Grants Commission that if students are to be enrolled for the Allied Health Sciences degree in the future, it should be done so with the consultation of the relevant parties, including the Government Medical Officers Association. The Government Medical Officers Association is a professional organization. What right does it have to question policy decisions? Our ministry is well aware of the value of degrees. The minister and I, our ministry and the UGC are aware of this. We have faced this situation before. At times, as a government, we have taken stern decisions with regard to problems in universities, but we cannot do so at this instance. As a government, we must reach a common accord.
Now, orders under the National Thoroughfares Act were taken up for debate in Parliament today. UNP MP Sujeeva Senasinghe expressed the views during the debate.
I looked into these issues utilizing the knowledge on economics that I have. There are 2 expressways in Karnataka and Goa. If you take a look at the cost of constructing a 4-lane road which spans 1 kilometer in England, it is around $5 million. You say all these lands that are used for the Karnataka highway are marshy areas. Even if you use $2 million extra for this, the total comes up to $7 million. The problem we have is that there is no tender procedure for the roads that are being constructed by you.
දැන් ඔබතුමාලා හදන පාරවලට යනවා කතානායකතුමනි මේවට ටෙන්ඩර් කැඳවන්නේ. මේක තමයි විශේෂ මේකේ තියෙන අපිට තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ.
A jeep that was involved in a hit-and-run accident, running over and killing a pregnant mother in Kunasingapura, Peta on the 27th of April has been identified. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohan has said today that the vehicle was identified using the license plate numbers given to the police by the deceased woman's husband.
This woman was run over inhumanely and then they fled. When looking at the vehicle's license plate number, the Motor Traffic Commission identified it as a car and not a jeep. However, officers inspected all CCTV camera footage in Peta and identified the vehicle and even witnessed it exiting into the Kandy Road. They realized that it was in fact a jeep. The owner is a director of a prominent private hospital in Colombo. It has been revealed that he has now fled the country and is in Singapore. We found the jeep several days ago. It was examined by the Government Analyst Department. We found various forms of evidence to the fact that this was the jeep that ran the woman over. The accident on the 27th of April was captured on CCTV cameras. The victim was a 27-year-old pregnant woman from the Pujapiti area in Kandy.
Newsfirst U reporter K.L.A.T. Kumara from Wakwella filed this report today.
A boy of about 16 years of age who was travelling on a motorbike died and two others were severely injured when a Bowser belonging to the Sri Lanka Army collided head-on with a motorcycle near the Pullikoda bend on the Wakwella Gintora road at around 8:30 last night. Following the accident, the injured were admitted to the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital.
Newsfirst U reporter K.L.A.T. Kumara Wakwella සිට.
A set of instructions has been issued to principals at schools in the Western Province by the Provincial Department of Education with the intention of improving the province's results at the next GCE Ordinary Level Examination. Through the passage in this proposal that can be considered the preamble, it is evident that provincial education authorities have accepted the bitter truth that education in the province has collapsed. Action TV pointed out a result of this collapse on a prior occasion, whereby the Western Province had the highest number of students who had failed all subjects in the GCE Ordinary Level Examination last year. The primary reason that the Western Province has fared better than all the other provinces overall is that the highest number of popular schools in the island, which do not come under the direct purview of the subject ministry, are located in the Western Province. If this was not the case, the nearest comparison for the Western Province would be the North Central Province, where for 12 years, running the province has been ranked last. On several occasions over the past 7 years, Action TV has pointed out that the North Central Province has reaped what it had sown. The sowing in question refers to the actions taken by the authorities in the North Central Province to corner qualified personnel and entrust education administration to unqualified individuals in contravention of administrative procedures. In the Western Province too, until the dissolution of the last provincial council, 6 key positions in the education administration structure were granted to retirees on a contractual basis. Following the swearing in of the new council too, these 6 ad hoc appointments have been extended. At present, the individual appointed to the position of Provincial Education Director too has been appointed on an acting basis. If persons appointed on an acting basis are to have their positions confirmed, then they must act not in accordance with the approved administrative structure, but to the tune of the political authority. As per the set of proposals issued by the acting Provincial Education Director yesterday, the students of all schools must be classified based on their skill level. At the same time, monthly examinations will have to be held for all these students from this month until November, covering all subjects. The challenge that is facing teachers in implementing these proposals is that they are required to submit projected scores for each of the students for each subject and submit these projections to the Provincial Department of Education ahead of the examination. According to the orders that were issued yesterday, extracurricular activities and activities parallel to the curriculum cannot take place during school hours. This is the same program that incidentally was introduced by the province that is currently ranked last in the island in 2012 under the program Priority to Education. That program concluded following just 1 term. Is it fair to appoint persons who have consistently proven their incapability to pressurize teachers and students into giving them the results they desire instead of appointing qualified personnel who can deliver those results through proper administration? Secretary to the Western Province Ministry of Education, over to you.
And in sports news, despite losing 2 quick wickets early on, Sri Lanka managed to post 219 runs on the board in their opening one-day encounter against Ireland in Dublin. Invited to bat first by the home side, Sri Lanka lost Kusal Janit Pereira for a duck. Lahiru Thirimanne fell soon after for just 8 runs. However, Opul Tharanga and Dinesh Chandimal put the Lankans past the 50 runs mark. Their assault was stopped by Stuart Thompson when he bagged the wicket of Tharanga for 24. Sri Lanka managed 219 for the loss of 8 wickets in their 50 overs thanks to the efforts of Nuwan Kulasekara, who remained unbeaten on 42.
On the track, get onto the front, and they'll be looking to press on from there.
Oh, that's a fantastic. Chasing 220 to win, Ireland were 125 for 8 after 36 overs.
Up in the air again, that looks as if it's going to fall safe.
And finally, the Sri Lankan water polo team, who won the bronze at the 50th Malaysian Water Polo Championship, returned to the island today. This is incidentally the first occasion on which Sri Lanka has secured an international water polo victory in the under-21 category.
The team which won the bronze medal at the Malaysian National Water Polo Tournament was led by Musharraf Uwais. The team advanced to the semi-finals, beating the defending champions Hong Kong. Sri Lanka took on Kuala Lumpur team in the battle for the third place and emerged victorious with a 14-7 score.
Players,
all our 13 team members played well. We didn't expect to obtain a result like this. However, we got this result because of our hard work.
Hong Kong,
Malaysia, Indonesia, Sri Lanka and other 6 clubs took part in this competition. This can be considered as a huge victory because we accomplished this just within a year after training sessions began to develop this sport in this country.
දියුණු කරන්න මේ දැන් මේකේ ට්‍රේනින් පටන් ගන්න අපි මේ අවුරුද්දක් ඇතුළත තමයි මේ ජයග්‍රහණය ලබා ගත්තේ.
With that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Prime Time News. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Minoshi Ratnasekara.
And I'm Nadim Majid. Good night and good luck.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.